WMA. Kwa hiyo tumpe maua yake huyo mtu. So you can see bare land is increasing, water body declining, grassland declining, woodland is declining. A clear indication of habitat transformation. When you see woodland going, forest going, you are moving to a shrubland or grassland, you know that habitat will no longer be suitable for wildlife habitat, even wildlife movement. This was kwa kuchinja, that is happening. And in some instances, it's within the WMA. So we have also something to do with the governance of WMA, wildlife management areas. You see it is a wildlife management area, but you see a number of human activities. And the villagers agreed that this and this should not be done in this area, but it's happening. But even the leaders of the WMA are there. Village governments are there. So we have also to do something in WMAs. We know they have a lot of challenges, but in the area, the better. This is a map just showcases some of the corridors connecting Nyerere National Park to Wamimbiki, and then Wamimbiki to Sadani, and Wamimbiki to Mikumi National Park. And you see, through the REGROW project, the project of the ministry, look the land use, land cover for Nyerere Wamimbiki Game Reserve. You see in, oh, I'm getting old, 1980. I'm nearly to check out probably. Yeah, so in 1980 you see a good habitat, green, woodland, some forest, you see. We'll go to the next year, 2000. You see 2000, things have started falling apart at the lower and at the top. And coming to 2020, mambo yameharibika kabisa. Habitat is changing. This is a wake-up call to do our part, to move away from business as usual and to act now. Otherwise, if you do modeling 50 years to come, you will see what will be happening. Probably animals will not make it. It will be full of human settlement, full of agricultural activities. Ni wanyama wachache tu wabishi kama aliyekuja Njiro akaua mtu na walioenda Dodoma kusalimia ndo wataweza, lakini wasio wabishi, they will not make it. And they make it all at night, because during the day, like moving from Serengeti to Wembere, utalii watu njiani hata kama ni mnyama, you need probably 4 days to make it. You will be in village land, you will be eaten. So it's only a few individuals will make it. Moving at night, you hide during the day. When they sleep, you start again. You can make it if you are lucky. This is a Silu. This is in Nyerere. We are used to Silu Niassa. So you see Silu Niassa, some elephants. These were collared in 2000 or 1999. They were making it from Selu to Niassa. I know WWF supported Dr. Hamza Tawiri. We did a current assessment. You see Selu, Niassa in 2001. It was slightly good habitat, green, woodland, forest. Moving to 2020. Things have started falling apart. You see the yellowish, reddish, so it is shrubland. It is a grassland. It's agriculture. It is settlement. So if we will not act in engaging these villages, because you know corridors are passing through a village land, we have to engage the village governments so that they accept to set aside. I think in the later discussion, I will bring a new concept of corridors. Because currently everybody is assuming this is a wildlife corridor. It's not. These are villages. Yeah, they are villages in the wildlife corridor. It was a corridor 1970, 1980, where there was nobody. But now we have to engage villages so that we have at least 5 kilometers stretch to make it so that, if this village refuses, we go this way. We have to find a way. We will determine the width of a corridor. But now we are assuming all of it's a corridor. It's not. It's full of houses. It's full of agricultural activities. We have to sit with every village, review their village land use plan, and set an area, a width of which we will agree, so that at least they can move from one village to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, until they are in Nyerere National Park, and the way back. Because otherwise, they will not make it in some years to come. So, Siluniasa, bare land increasing, cultivation increasing, grassland increasing. Over and above all, it's clear there is a significant increase in bare land and cultivation, coupled with the human settlement in most of the corridors. And this is a bad news for all of us. I was talking to one mzee at a Willy conference that wazee wa zamani walikosea, akasema kweli tulikosea. We made a mistake. Buffer zones have gone. Corridors, we thought there is too much big land, it will not be finished, it will lala. We made a mistake. So for the current generation, let us not make another mistake to secure the remaining. And I'm telling you the bad news, we will have one day to agree in some of the corridors to say hands up, to give up. If you know, many we are using satellite image. For those who we have been walking in villages, you just see some corridors where we can say, hapa tunyoshe mkono. You can't remove Igando Igawa or Igando. Hiyo ni mji sasa hivi. Utafanyaje? Hamna. So, this is a map of Hamza. You see in 2001, wildlife distribution for the grazers. Not much change, but if you go to the browsers, you see, this is the Seluniasa. Where are the browsers? Wameshaanza kukimbia. You see, in 2001, grazers, we are using it very nicely. You go to mixed feeders, 2001, slightly better. But coming to 2020, you see a declining number of mixed feeders in Seluniasa wildlife corridor. So we have just remained with grazers, and they are making it because of habitat transformation, probably from woodland, from forest to grassland. So for grazers, for them it might be good news. For browsers and the mixed feeders, they are not making it, and they are no longer using it as a wildlife habitat. It's a wake-up call. Human activities, livestock grazing, cultivation in Seluniasa. My last corridor, I think this is the one in which we will nearly say hands up. And the bad news with the Igando Igawa or Ruaha Mpanga Kipengele, it has a GN. So my message is that even if we are crying for GN, for the government gazettement, my friend, will not help you if you are not acting. This is the only corridor. I hear probably with Kitendeni, with a government notice gazetted through activities of Wildlife Conservation Society in 2018. But a gazetted corridor will be the first one to rest in peace. This is bad news. So we are crying for gazettement. Gazettement will not help anything if village governments and all of us, we will not take hard to make sure that compliance is enforced. You go to that corridor and you find some of the village leaders are the one who have claimed 50 acres of land within the corridor. The one who were supposed to enforce compliance. So gazettement will not help anything if we don't act. So Salehe is standing on my back and I'm just finishing up. So this is a Ruaha Mpanga Kipengele. You see habitat transformation. Open grassland, dense shrubland decreasing throughout. These are some of the human activities in Igando Igawa. It's called Igando Igawa because it's between Igando Center and the Igawa Center. The width, but the length is from Ruaha National Park to Mpanga Kipengele. You see things that were happening when we did an assessment in 2019 in Igando Igawa. So, before my conclusions, let me just say another important threat. Infrastructure development is also a challenge in protected in corridors, standard gauge railway, power transmission line, way bridge, regional road, official formal settlement. There is no development project that has no impact, but in collaboration, we have the technical capacity to assist how best a development project can be done. We have done it for SGR. I can share some slides later so that we make some underpasses, some bridges and culverts for animal to pass. We did it with Yapi Maizeki, ERS consultant and Tawiri. So it's possible. We have nothing to worry. The important thing is that stakeholders' engagement to agree on how best this development project can be done. You see, like this movement of elephants that are placed in between, there is where these are elephants from Sadani and Wamimbiki Game Reserve. This is they are moving to Mikumi National Park. This is where we have placed a number of bridges, culverts, and underpasses for the SGR. So it's possible. My conclusion. Wildlife corridors are at a crossroad. We have to prevent their loss or blockage. 2, we have to make a difference. Move away from business as usual. And to me, even for the donor community, we have to reduce meetings. We have to go to the field. I hate meetings, and sometimes I stop. There is one consortium in Tanzania, I stopped going there because things were not happening in the field. Let us fund people who are going for ground truthing, who are doing community engagement, and reduce significantly this number of meetings, because meetings will not help us if we have no people engaging communities at the grassroots. And these are my recommendations. Community education. We have to do a lot. Land is a scarce resource. Mining, agriculture, livestock grazing, everything. Waste enough, even if you die, you go back to land. So it is a scarce resource. We have to educate communities. Why set a corridor in their village land? We don't do it. We have started by failing. Number 2, for villages that corridors are passing in their village land, let us review their village land use plans so that they set an area for settlement, for cultivation, for livestock grazing, for forest conservation, but a stretch for wildlife movement. That will connect with the other village. And to review the legislation and the policy. I've been I told Sarehe at Kibo Palace when we are making the corridor regulation, you know, we had a pressure. It's very difficult to gazette a corridor through the current legislation because I've been in villages, I've been talking to communities, I've been talking to people. We have to do something with the legislation on how easy and smooth we can set a corridor. Thank you very much. So I've taken some time, you know, with me when it comes to corridors, usually I have to customize my sliders, otherwise I can stay for a whole day. Sorry, Samadini sir.
Don't go very far. When you press a play button for Dr. Koi, you can hardly find the stop or even the pause. He doesn't stop talking. I've been walking in all corridors, not working, but walking. He's walked all those corridors, and he can see them go. That's why he's like that. And just a one out, we'll have about 3 minutes. Slide. I hope the RTI person can come and get them on this machine. Just a 3 minute one. It's sent to the RTI email. So just before the next, can you clap for him? Okay, let's clap for him until he sits down. Until he sits down. Until he sits down. Until he sits down. Okay, thank you so very much. Madam Guest of Honor, some of us read enough to see the corridors. Function and cohesion. To give an example, I was in Canada in 1961. At the time, traveling with a Sentika train from Arusha to Moshi. And gazelles and zebras were running parallel with the train. It was a corridor. Yesterday I was listening to one of the land problems in Kia. The Maasais who have been there forever have been living in that corridor. It's totally gone. You cannot only see pictures at the Kilimanjaro International Airport, but it's gone. And here we are, I think all of us are a bit wild. We're just thinking of wildlife corridors. Remember, I'm not coming to a committee yet. There are others who are talking about the agricultural development corridors. SAGOT. Go to the agricultural policy. They identify more than half of the country which is good for agriculture. Go to the livestock policy. They also appreciate there's more than half of this country which is good for livestock. If you go to wildlifers, we are already there, even more. When you go to infrastructure, which the doctor has touched, there's a lot. There's standard gauge railway, there's Bomba La Mafuta from Uganda, I don't know where. There are all those corridor sort of things that should be mapped together so that we have less conflict. There is no way that we can avoid the conflicts because when we got independence, we were about 8-9 million. Today we are 60, and the land does not grow. So we have to manage our challenges. So before I invite the next speaker, I hope there are no questions yet. We'll have enough time to ask questions, unless if the guest of honor will have a question to ask. But I think we can spare some of those questions until much later. Meanwhile, can I please request our friend from USAID, Plato, Mheshimiwa Plato. I am scared of pronouncing the next name because it's very healthy. Asante. So from USAID, you can actually press the button right there and just speak from there. And we have some couple of minutes, please. You are free to talk in English or Kiswahili. Yeah, just press the button. Oh, you want to come here? Okay, please.
Does this work?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Because I think if you come here, people might be happier.
Sawa, nakuja.
Asante. Asante sana. Yeah, sometimes when you sit for too long, people might imagine that you don't have legs. But when you stand up, then you have the legs. Karibu sana. Karibu.
Napenda kutembea. Maybe someday I'll walk the corridors too. Honorable Angela Kairuki, Minister of Natural Resources and Tourism. Honorable Deputy Minister Dunstan. Dr. Msofe, Director of Wildlife. Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Habari za asubuhi. It's an honor to be here at the inaugural National Wildlife Corridor Forum in Dar es Salaam. I bring you warm greetings from U.S. Ambassador Michael Battle and USAID Tanzania Mission Director Craig Hart. Today marks an important step towards Tanzania's wildlife conservation journey. We come together to exchange insights on securing, protecting, and sustaining the movement of wildlife in this most beautiful country. Honorable Minister, through USAID, the United States remains committed to supporting conservation in Tanzania. We understand the challenges posed by unsustainable land use, and that such practices not only restrict wildlife movement, but also increase human-wildlife conflicts, conflicts that erode our shared conservation and development goals. Wildlife corridors can play a vital role in maintaining healthy wildlife populations by preventing unsustainable land use and reducing the risk of human-wildlife conflicts. We were proud to have provided support to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism in the development of the Tanzania Wildlife Corridors Assessment, Prioritization and Action Plan, which serves as an important guide and offers data on corridor locations, challenges, and conservation strategies. And we are honored to support tomorrow's launch of the National Policy Implementation Strategy. This strategy will build on the action plan and is a blueprint for action and a guide for stakeholders, such as us, to protect habitats, preserve wildlife populations, and secure livelihoods through vital ecosystem services. Through USAID, Uhifadhi Maliasili the Uhifadhi Maliasili project, and we will work together to preserve 7 key wildlife corridors. And it's a testament to the power of partnership, our partnership, everybody in this room. The involvement of your ministry and other Tanzanian government entities, including the National Land Use Planning Commission, the Prime Minister's Office of Regional and Local Government, and the Tanzania Wildlife Research Institute, has been invaluable. Our experience has shown that participatory land use planning and strong enforcement are key to protecting these vital wildlife pathways. USAID's recent assistance in enhancing the land use information system will help mitigate much of the human-wildlife conflict we witness today. By promoting human-wildlife coexistence and sustainable livelihoods within these corridors, we've seen both economic improvement and a reduction in pressures on wildlife movement. By including diverse groups, from private sector entities and civil society organizations to women and youth, into these initiatives, we have embraced a sustainable, inclusive approach to wildlife corridor conservation. Honorable Minister, our collective efforts are more than just conservation measures. They represent the building blocks of a larger legacy, a legacy that promises a prosperous future for Tanzania, where the sustainable coexistence of people and wildlife serves as a foundation for progress. For example, through our work, we have benefited the Maasai livestock keepers in the Kwakuchinja Wildlife Corridor to erect predator-proof bomas. This has not only kept away wild animals, such as lions and hyenas, from attacking livestock at night, but also protected wildlife from retaliatory killings by livestock keepers seeking revenge. Kauli mbiu ya mkutano wetu ni kuongoa shoroba kwa uhifadhi endelevu. USAID Tanzania is dedicated to this vision, and together through focused collaboration, we are poised to achieve a future in which conservation and development aren't just parallel paths, but part of the same journey. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza na wakatia mkutana mwema. Thank you very much.
Asante sana. That was perfect Swanglish, and well done. I think having heard from our friend from USAID is a clear representation of our development partners who work together. We have USAID, you have UNDP, you have JZ, we have, I think you have got that meeting of yours for the coordination on how to support Tanzania. So pass our regards to the whole team in appreciation. Okay, then it's now time to request Madam Musofe, Director of Wildlife, to come and have some few words, not too many. And not only that, but also you can also reintroduce our chair lady, and thereafter protocols to invite the guests of honor. Karibu, madam. Tupige makofi. Anapenda makofi.
Thank you so much, facilitator. Guest of honor, Honorable Angela Kairuki, Member of Parliament, Minister for Natural Resources and Tourism. Honorable Dastan Kitandula, Member of Parliament, Deputy Minister for Natural Resources and Tourism. Representative from the United States government through the USAID, Plato, who is the Director of Economic Growth. Representative from the President's Office, Regional Administrative and Local Government Authority. Representative from the Vice President's Office, Madam Lina Kitosi, representative from the Prime Minister's Office, National Wildlife Corridor Restoration Forum, representative from different ministries and government agencies, conservation commissioners, TANAPA, TAWA, Ngorongoro, TFS, representative from the Tanzania Wildlife Research Institute, Dr. Keyu, and others, conservation partners present, media fraternity, distinguished guests, and all invited participants. Good morning. Guests of honor, allow me to extend my sincere gratitude to you in person for dedicating your time to this important event, despite your very tight schedule. I also would like to extend special thanks to all who have gathered here today with us. Your presence at this forum signifies your support to the ministry and your commitment to the biodiversity conservation, people's livelihoods, and above all, in promoting tourism for the development of our country. Guests of honor, kindly allow me to first welcome Ms. Lina Kitosi, the Assistant Director of the Extra Parliamentary Affairs from the Prime Minister's Office, who is the chairperson of the National Wildlife Corridor Restoration Committee, to say a word before I can continue. Welcome.
Dear guest of honor, Honorable Angela Kairuki, Minister for National Resources and Tourism, Honorable Deputy Minister for Natural Resources and Tourism, our distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, protocols observed. Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. May I take this opportunity to thank our Almighty God for granting us this special time to be here today and to participate in this important historical event of the first National Wildlife Corridors Forum. I would like also to thank all the participants who have traveled from various parts of Tanzania to witness this remarkable event. On behalf of our team, may I extend special gratitude to you, our honorable guest of honor, for granting your special time to officiate this important event. Thank you so much, Madam Minister. As the theme of this forum says, securing wildlife connectivity for sustainable development, I believe we are all aware of the challenges of conflicts between humans and wildlife that will continue to occur in various areas in this country. The challenge may be due to human activities that are taking place in the areas of wildlife refuge. So recognizing the importance of facing these challenges is why we have met here, so that together we can understand the importance of those areas and how we can set strategy to guide them to reduce conflicts between humans and wildlife. This step will enable us to protect and preserve them for sustainable prosperity of the country and society as a whole. Dear guests of honor, I wish to emulate the efforts of the sixth government led by Honorable Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan to protect and promote interventions to conserve our natural resources for the betterment of our nation and its people. On the aspect of wildlife corridor restoration in the country, the government through the Prime Minister's Office and in collaboration with your Ministry of the National Resources and Tourism formed a team of experts called the National Wildlife Corridor Restoration Committee, which I'm chairing, and Dr. Fortunata Msofe, the Director of Wildlife, serves as the Secretary to the committee. This committee is a cross-sectional committee comprising of almost 32 experts from different ministries and other government institutions. To mention a few, we have the Prime Minister's Office, President's Office, Regional Government and Local Government Authorities, Office of the Vice President, the Ministry of Natural Resources itself, Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, Ministry of Lands and Human Settlements, Ministry of Works, the Office of the Attorney General. Other members are from the government institutions, namely, we have the NEMC, National Land Use Plan, TARURA, TRANROADS, TAWIRI, TANAPA, TAWA, NCAA, and TEFACE. May you please, members of the committee, rise up to be introduced. May you please rise up. Thank you so much, Honorable Guest of Honor. Those are the members of our committee. The role of this committee is to spearhead corridor restoration efforts, considering that this duty is a long-term initiative that requires close engagement of different government stakeholders, local communities, and conservation partners. On behalf of the committee, I wish to express our special gratitude to various wildlife stakeholders for the huge support they have extended to this committee. And however, since our committee is still an infant, it has no funds to support its works. We hope that our partners or development partners herein will join hands to support the works of our committee. Dear guests of honor, without much ado, and to conclude, may I say that this forum therefore marks the beginning of our journey to achieve these endeavors. And therefore the committee looks forward to implement your directives and working close to our stakeholders most present here. Lastly, may I thank you, all the participants, for attending these important events. May I welcome Director Dr. Msofe to invite you to officiate this important event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lina. Guests of honor, we all know that the Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism is responsible for the conservation of natural resources through various regimes of protected areas and areas that harbors wildlife outside of protected areas, which includes the national parks, game reserves, forest reserves, game controlled areas, wildlife management areas, to mention a few. These protected areas and other wildlife ecosystems are connected by wildlife corridors, which allow wild animals to move from one area to another in search of important resources such as food, salt licks, security, breeding sites, among other reasons. Guests of honor, currently negative interactions between humans and wildlife is a common scenario in many parts of our country. And it's mainly due to the blockage of some of the key wildlife corridors, especially those which are used by elephants. The ministry, in collaboration with conservation partners and stakeholders, has conducted corridors assessment and prioritization in 2019 and 2020, and they identified 61 wildlife corridors which are still viable, but many of these corridors are currently in different stages, which are also presenting a challenge towards their sustainability. Guests of honor, securing and protecting these wildlife corridors requires multi-sectoral and integrated approaches, since those corridors are found in both village and general lands. It is from this reality that the ministry requested the Prime Minister's office to coordinate the restoration program of wildlife corridors in the country. The National Wildlife Corridor Restoration Committee formed include members from sectoral ministries, as mentioned by the chair. Guests of honor, currently the ministry, in collaboration with conservation partners, has started efforts to restore some key wildlife corridors, as mentioned by the first speaker, Dr. Keyu. These include the Mwanihana Magombera Wildlife Corridor, which connects Udzungwa National Park and Nyerere National Park. The Kwakuchinja Wildlife Corridor, which connects Tarangire National Park and Lake Manyara National Park. Another important corridor in the northern part of the country is the Yaedachini, which connects Ngorongoro Conservation Area, Lake Manyara National Park, Upper Kitete, up to Lake Natron and up to Lake Natron. But another important corridor is the transboundary corridor, which is between Tanzania and Mozambique. And this one is the Selunyasa corridor that's mentioned by Dr. Keyu. This one is one of those very first initiative restoration programs